Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into The Brain by David Eagleman, a profound exploration of human consciousness and the inner workings of our minds. The book unpacks leading-edge neuroscientific research, addressing age-old philosophical enigmas like the essence of personality, the fluidity of our identities, and the nature of reality itself. Eagleman, with the acumen of a seasoned neuroscientist and the storytelling knack of a novelist, guides us through a journey that is as unsettling as it is fascinating, redefining our understanding of the brain's extraordinary capabilities. Author David Eagleman, a professor at Baylor College of Medicine and adept researcher with works published in Science and Nature, also authored Incognito: The Secret Lives of the Brain and the novel Some 40 Tales from the After Lives. His BBC television series The Brain complements the insights shared in this book. The Brain is a must-read for anyone from avid philosophers to curious minds fascinated by scientific advances and futurologists intrigued by the prospect of a transhuman future. Join us as we unravel the intricacies of what might be the universe's most complex known object, the human brain. The Brain, the Story of You. Introduction. Unlock the mysteries of your mind, exploring the essence of the brain. Imagine setting out on a thrilling expedition, not into the depths of the ocean or the far reaches of space, but within the complex labyrinth of your own brain. It's an adventure that promises to unravel the fabric of who you are, unraveling the enigmatic processes behind every thought, decision, and sensation. The brain is, in many ways, like a sophisticated command center that we believe to be diligently obeyed by our conscious self. Yet, delve a little deeper into the realms of psychology and neuroscience, and you'll quickly find it's the subconscious that's often pulling the strings in this intricate puppetry of the mind. If we were forced to cogitate on each minute detail of our everyday activities, every blink, every breath, every fleeting thought, life would indeed be overwhelming. Fortunately, our subconscious minds handle the bulk of this workload, enabling us to enjoy that morning coffee without succumbing to mental fatigue. However, this seamlessly operating system presents a cascade of compelling questions about the human experience. What are the foundations of our identity? What hidden mechanisms lie behind the choices we make and the conclusions we draw about the world around us? And how does our very essence transform with time? Prepare to embark on an intellectual journey through the gray matter that not only seeks answers to these probing questions, but also offers an enlightening exploration of the brain's intricate terrain. This narrative will allure your curiosity as we dive into how and why the brains of London taxi drivers adapt uniquely to their profession, uncover the surprising influence of our olfactory senses on moral judgment, and even examine the curious way Botox might dampen our empathic connections. Fasten your seatbelts for a stimulating excursion into the mind's deepest recesses, where every discovery reveals more about the enigma that is the human brain. Part 1. Transformations Within. How the dynamic brain sculpts our evolving selves. Imagine a lauded bottle of wine, each passing year lending nuanced flavors and richer depth. Contrast that with one resigned to spoil, its potential splendor souring into nothing more than vinegar. Such is the human condition, an ever-shifting landscape marked by growth and regression, sweetening and spoiling with the passing of time. Have you ever pondered the remarkable way a friend from childhood can seem like an entirely different individual years later? Such profound alterations in personality often lead us to question the mechanics of personal change. The answer lies in the brain's remarkable capacity to evolve. From the moment we come into this world, our brains are in a state of perpetual renovation, continually crafting new neural pathways and adapting to the environment. This relentless neurological activity sculpts our personalities, much like a river shapes a canyon. Consider the toddler, brimming with potential, her brain a vibrant web of synapses pulsating with raw information. At this tender age, there is an overabundance of these connectors, eclipsing even the adult brain's synaptic count. As we venture through life, a natural synaptic pruning occurs, trimming away connections that aren't reinforced through repeated use. It's the reason why articulating and decoding the subtleties of foreign languages not encountered in childhood can be daunting. The essence of our personalities, the very fibers of our being, are the direct result of a lifetime's accumulation of experiences. Every interaction, movie, or novel leaves an indelible mark, molding the unique constellation of synapses that comprise the self. This flexibility of the mind is known as plasticity, the brain's innate capacity to adapt and learn through repeated exposure to experiences. This remarkable feature isn't just the playground of the young. Adult brains are equally adept at transformation. Take, for example, a compelling study from University College London, which peered into the craniums of the city's esteemed taxi drivers. These navigators showcased enlarged hippocampi, the brain region pivotal for spatial memory when compared with a control group. This expansion was attributed to the rigorous training known amongst cabbies as the knowledge, an extensive map of London's sprawling streets, landmarks, and routes, etched into their brains over 4 grueling years. Just as muscles bulge with consistent training, so too did the taxi driver's hippocampi swell from the cerebral workout provided by incessant memorization. But it's not merely occupation that can reshape the brain. Drastic changes also manifest in starkly more dramatic and personal ways. Consider the unsettling case of Charles Whitman, known for his horrific spree at the University of Texas in 1966. A subsequent autopsy unveiled a tumor pressing against the region of his brain governing fear and aggression. This grim discovery suggested a neurological underpinning to his abrupt and tragic shift in behavior. Part 2. Perception versus reality. How the brain shapes our individual worlds. Our convictions often lead us to believe that our perception reflects the world precisely as it is. However, have you ever encountered an optical illusion that caused your brain to flip between seeing one image and then another? That classic quandary of perceiving either a duck or a rabbit with a mere shift in perspective exemplifies a profound principle. Our brains can flip-flop on what constitutes reality. This adaptable perception occurs because the brain, ever so hungry for information, doesn't operate in isolation. It partners closely with our sensory organs, the avenues of smell, taste, and vision, that collectively paint the picture of our surroundings. Consider the poignant story of Paralympic champion skier Mike May. Stripped of his vision at a tender age, he seized it back through surgery after 4 decades. But this newfound gift of sight was both bewildering and daunting. Overwhelmed with visual data, he couldn't even recognize his children's faces, and skiing, which once relied on his honed sense of touch and sound, became a challenging endeavor. The visual cortex, underutilized since childhood, had led the brain to amplify its other sensory channels, altering his experience of reality. Our eyes are not passive recorders, simply transmitting raw footage to a cerebral screen. Vision is a duet sung by the eyes and the brain in harmony, crafting a personalized rendition of reality. This interpretation is a distinct internal representation, not an objective truth. For an even more vivid example, step into the world of synesthesia, where sensory experiences blend in extraordinary fashions. Words provoke tastes, and sounds ignite visions of color. Here, the same neurological regions responsive to a vibrant sunset are equally stimulated by the melodious strains of music. Do these synesthetic experiences equate to hallucinations? Far from it. The sensory organs provide a mere scaffold upon which the brain constructs its version of reality. But remember, the picture painted is always an impression, an individual's subjective take on an external world that remains, in truth, ever elusive. Part 3. The silent pilots of our decisions. How the subconscious mind guides us. Have you ever wondered just how much influence you wield over your own choices? It's tempting to envision the conscious self at the helm, directing our every move with precision. However, the reality is that the vast majority of our decisions are made beneath the conscious radar, in the depths of our subconscious. This isn't cause for alarm. Rather, it's a fundamental aspect of our cognitive efficiency. Consider the overwhelming complexity of engaging in a simple dialogue or savoring your morning brew if each microscopic gesture required your undivided attention. The magic behind the ease of these tasks lies in the subconscious execution of well-honed skills. It all boils down to a counterintuitive insight. Our performance peaks when we stop overanalyzing our actions. Visualize a 10-year-old virtuoso of sport stacking, a competitive arena where speed is everything, and the task is to stack cups into predetermined patterns against the clock. Austin Neighbor, a young champion in this arena, and the author were both monitored with EEG machines, tracking the brain's electric activity during a cup stacking routine. The challenge was unfamiliar territory for the author, demanding immense cerebral exertion. Contrastingly, Austin performed with his brain at ease, having ingrained the movements so deeply into his muscle memory that conscious thought was unnecessary. Expertise in any field transitions actions from purposeful to reflexive. This is exemplified by baseball players who intuitively swing at a pitch. The brain simply cannot rationalize the trajectory and velocity in real time. The subconscious takes over, weaving instinct into action. This subconscious domination isn't isolated to athletic endeavors. It permeates our day-to-day choices, often without our realization. A thought-provoking investigation into this phenomenon was led by evolutionary psychologist Jeffrey Miller, who observed the tipping patterns in strip clubs. Remarkably, he discovered that the income female dancers secured via tips doubled during ovulation, hinting at an instinctual response from patrons to subtle cues linked to fertility. Similarly, our moral judgments have been shown to be swayed by our surroundings. A foul odor can tarnish our view of someone's actions as unethical, while cradling a warm beverage may lead us to characterize our interpersonal relationships with an equivalent warmth. These findings allude to the concept known as priming, a subconscious influence where sensory cues shape our perceptions and reactions, even when we are none the wiser. Our brain's under-the-radar operations play a pivotal role in shaping our experiences and ultimately the paths we take. With each unnoticed detail, our subconscious minds chart a course through the seas of decision, often beyond the reach of our conscious intent. Part 4. The complex cocktail of choice. Understanding decision-making in the human brain. Every day presents us with an array of choices, from the trivial to the pivotal. But beneath the surface, what are the cerebral mechanisms at play when we make these decisions? The process is an intricate dance of sensory data and emotional reactions, both igniting various brain regions as we ponder our options. Even selecting a soup for lunch can spark a frenzied ballet of neurons laden with sensory impressions and emotional associations. The subsequent enjoyment of our choice reinforces future decisions. When we relish the consequences, our brain releases dopamine, a chemical associated with pleasure, which encodes the experience positively for next time. Peering into the extremes, we find cases like Tammy Myers, whose brain injury from a motorbike accident disrupted her body's communication lines. Unable to discern feelings of hunger, satisfaction, or fatigue. Tammy's capacity to make informed choices was considerably hampered, highlighting the deep interconnection between physical sensation and decision-making. Noteworthy, too, is the brain's inclination toward immediate gratification. It's programmed to prioritize the now over potential future benefits. This could explain why tempting yet reckless financial decisions are made, or why affairs are embarked upon despite potential long-term consequences. How then do we navigate the alluring siren song of instant reward to pursue far-sighted goals? One strategy is the Ulysses contract, a technique borrowed from ancient lore. In Greek mythology, Ulysses secured himself to his ship's mast to resist the siren's captivating calls. In contemporary terms, it's about creating self-imposed structures to avert the temptations that might derail our objectives. For instance, committing to a gym date with a friend could bolster your determination to maintain an exercise regimen. During exams, entrusting your social media passwords to a confidant might keep digital distractions at bay. And for those endeavoring to quit smoking, eliminating immediate access to cigarettes can act as a physical barrier to impulsive choices. By crafting our own Ulysses contracts, we can proactively pre-commit to choices that align with our long-term objectives, effectively charting a course through the tempting waters of short-term desires with the wisdom of foresight. Part 5. The crucial role of social bonding in the survival of the species. Stepping into the vast savanna of human interaction, we understand that the brain's intricate wiring is tailored for one of life's most essential functions: socialization. We navigate our world by decoding the labyrinth of human relationships, always deciphering who is part of us and who is the other. This ability to understand and connect with the feelings of others is empathy in action. Mirror. Mirror on the brain. What's the emotion we ascertain? The key lies in mimicry. When we interact, we instinctively mimic each other's facial expressions, creating a sort of emotional echo that lets our brains sync up with others' states of mind. This mirroring is so profound that it even sculpts our physical features over time, hence the resemblance often observed in long-term partners. The author delved into an experiment to explore how critical facial expressions are in this social dance. Participants who had received Botox treatment, limiting their facial expressiveness, were pitted against those without such treatments. Each group was shown various emotional expressions whilst hooked up to machines tracking their facial muscles. The outcome was telling. Not only were the Botox users less expressive, but they also struggled to interpret others' emotions. It turns out that understanding feelings isn't just an internal process, it's also about physically mirroring the observed expressions. Our feelings of connection, however, can falter when it comes to those seen as outside our group. A study from the University of Leiden brought this into sharp relief by presenting images of homeless individuals to participants. Alarmingly, the subjects exhibited diminished brain activity compared to when they engaged with non-homeless persons, effectively objectifying those in the photos. Media and propaganda can exacerbate these divisions, reconfiguring social attitudes by dehumanizing certain groups. A chilling instance occurred in 1990s Yugoslavia, where Serbian media disseminated malicious falsehoods about the Muslim community, alleging atrocities to animalize them in the public's eye. Such strategies reinforce outgroup stereotypes, severing cords of empathy and painting them as unworthy of compassion. In essence, social bonding isn't a mere byproduct of our evolution, it is a linchpin, a mechanism increasing the odds that we, as a collective, will endure. The threads of empathy woven through our interactions don't just enrich our lives individually, they ensure the resilience and progression of humanity itself. Part 6. The partnership between the brain and technology. Enhancing, not replacing. In our technological renaissance, scientific breakthroughs have catapulted us into realms once confined to the imaginations of science fiction writers. One of the most profound revelations of our time is the brain's uncanny ability to adapt to artificial signals, a discovery with untold potential to redefine human experience. Consider, for instance, cochlear implants. These marvels of technology translate auditory signals into digital information for those with hearing impairments. The brain learns to interpret this digital dialect as sound, provided it is cross-referenced with other sensory input, hinting at a futuristic landscape where other types of data might be directly funneled into our neural pathways. Imagine waking up to a world where your brain receives weather alerts, traffic reports, and notifications internally, no screen required. Venturing even further, the conditions of space pose a formidable challenge to our earthly vessels. What if our minds could be transferred into a more robust mechanical shell, freeing us to explore the cosmos unfettered by human physical limitations? In this scenario, the brain could be powered down for the journey's duration, only to be reawakened upon arrival at a distant celestial shore. Despite the extraordinary leaps in technology, with computing power skyrocketing 1,000-fold in 2 decades, there remains an insurmountable chasm between mechanical processing and the rich tapestry of human cognition. The advent of a synthesis between brain and machine signals the approach of transhumanism, a convergence of human and technological evolution. Yet regardless of the strides technology makes in augmenting or supplanting our physical form, it cannot usurp the throne of the human brain. Philosopher John Searle illuminated this distinction in the 1980s, underscoring the difference between performing tasks and possessing consciousness. When almighty Google processes a query, it doesn't understand, it calculates. It sifts through a labyrinthine database with its algorithms, delivering responses devoid of understanding. Awareness, the true hallmark of the brain's supremacy, remains an elusive domain untouched by even the most advanced algorithms. Computers may command vast networks of information and execute tasks with lightning accuracy, but they lack the spark of sentience that kindles the human mind. The brain, it seems, will steadfastly remain the inimitable conductor of our inner symphony, with technology as its ever-evolving instrument. Final summary. The brain is the architect of our identity, meticulously etched with the sum of our experiences. Each encounter we have, every emotion we feel, influences the intricate neural fabric of our personalities. The remarkable plasticity of the brain allows for constant adaptation, offering the potential for reinvention at any stage of life. Our interaction with the world is a subjective tapestry woven by the brain's interpretation of sensory data. We perceive not a static reality but an individualized version shaped by our mental processes. As technology strides boldly forward, we find ourselves at the cusp of an era where these cognitive landscapes might be radically transformed through unprecedented digital integration. This burgeoning transhuman age promises a symbiosis of biological brainpower with technological prowess, a fusion that could expand human potential beyond traditional boundaries. Yet, amid this surge of advancements, it is crucial to remember the irreplaceable core of human intelligence, consciousness. Machines may amplify and extend our cognitive capabilities, but the spark of awareness, the very essence of what it means to be human, remains beyond the realm of technology to replicate. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.